Can you feel it? Spring is in the air, and that means hundreds of bears will emerge from their winter hibernation. But before that happens, state biologists are doing research on the bear population.
NBC Connecticut's Ryan Hanrahan crawled into a bear den in Barkhamsted to get an up-close look at the process. And Ryan, I can tell by your posts on Facebook, you're very excited about this.
Well, it's hard not to be, Jerry and Keisha. Scenes like this one in Bristol are becoming more and more common as bears migrate from the hills to the cities. That's why state biologists have put 34 radio collars on female bears to help study their habitat and reproduction. I joined a team of biologists for a day to learn more about the state's growing number of black bears. This is what the inside of a bear den looks like. It's cramped, it's damp, and a bit smelly. This den is home to 5 hibernating bears, a mother and her 4 yearlings. We met up with Department of Energy and Environmental Protection biologist Paul Rigo and his team in Barkhamsted to try and track down one of the bears the state has been monitoring.
When you know how many of the females are breeding, how many cubs they're producing, how many cubs survive from year to year, you can get a better idea of how fast the population of black bears is going to be growing.
After about an hour of trudging through knee-deep snow and listening for a ping from a radio beacon attached to the bear's neck, we found her.
She hears cubs.
The bear den was a crevice formed by a few boulders only a few feet wide in Peoples State Forest. She was hibernating alongside 4 yearlings under the rocks. Getting the bears out of their den is a challenge, and it can be dangerous.
She comes out, she's just gonna come right over top of me.
Biologist Jason Hawley went in first, trying to approach quietly and armed with a needle filled with a tranquilizer drug. You can see the bear here on the top of the screen as Jason pokes her with a drug. After about 15 minutes,
Big yawn. She just shook her head.
2 of the yearlings were removed first.
Oh, scrawny one, huh?
The babies were only about 45 pounds, but they were healthy. The mother bear will get a collar that has GPS technology on it. Her cubs get one of these red tags. While the yearlings were easy to pull out, the 250-pound mama bear wasn't.
If we just keep pulling, it's just gonna wedge you in there. Yep.
After an hour of struggling, the DEP biologists had to give up on getting her out.
The vast majority of times we are able to remove the sow from the den, but as you saw, it was a very, very tight rock crevice, and the configuration of the rocks was just such that as we tried to pull the bear out of the den, there wasn't enough room to get her around some of the crevices.
Even though biologists will have to wait until next winter to replace the mother's radio collar, they were able to gather valuable information on 2 little ones.
8.5, 36.5.
Through the years, this research has confirmed the population of black bears continues to explode across the state.
That's why we care, because as the population grows, we're going to have more and more conflicts and over a wider portion of the state.
Now, the mama bear still has a year of battery life left in her radio collar, so chances are the DEP will be able to find her when they try again. As for the babies, as soon as they end their hibernation in early April, they will be out on their own, and most likely they'll wind up in someone's backyard.
Man, kudos to you and photojournalist John Senecal. I've never seen anything quite like that.
Leading out for Chatham from UCLA, number 4, shortstop Tyler Ramatula.
Welcome to Chatham, Massachusetts and Cape Cod League Baseball. For the past 125 years, this league has been home to some of the best amateur players in the country.
3's not enough, let's go.
Plainfield, Connecticut's John Schiffner also calls Chatham home. The high school history teacher has been playing or coaching in this league for the majority of his adult life.
My old team, the Harwich Mariners, invited me to come back after I was done playing and coached with Harwich in 1977, then had what I consider the great opportunity. I came here in 78. Ed Lyons, the coach of Chatham, asked me to come to Chatham, and that's like the Yankees of, the Cape Cod League.
But that's where the comparisons stop. In this league, there are no big league contracts or luxury suites, and the players here learn every facet of the game.
Hey, any way you can, Tommy, here you go.
And Coach Schiff wouldn't have it any other way. Sure, he's had other opportunities, but every summer he's back at the helm of the Anglers.
Why do you coach in this league? It's because of the players. They're fantastic.
Players like Jesse Hahn and Matt Harvey, both former Fitch High School standouts, are now about to be college juniors with their eyes on the big prize.
I'd love to be a high draft pick next year, and this is the league to do it in. You see every game out here, we have scouts watching.
For now, they'll pass on their skills and knowledge to younger players and soak in everything a coach with over 400 victories has to offer. With nearly a quarter-century of service under his belt here in the Cape Cod League, numerous league titles, and even having a Hollywood actor portray him in a movie, one would have to ask, what is next for Coach Schiff?
I want to be in Chatham, Massachusetts, coaching in the Cape Cod League. I think I have the best job in amateur baseball because I'm the manager of the Chatham Anglers in the Cape Cod Baseball League. You can't get much better than that.
The play, well, it may not be perfect, but it is summer, it is the Cape, and
it's the last best league because once you leave here, it's pro ball, and it's so different. This is pure.
In Chatham, Massachusetts, John Senecal, NBC Connecticut News.
Last time we saw Ed Jarrett, he was breaking his own record for the world's tallest sandcastle. Now he's preserving a part of local history and helping out charity. NBC Connecticut photojournalist John Senecal has his story.
So we flipped them up for the summer, and then I came back and looked at them throughout the summer. And we got to the point where I was like, I feel pretty comfortable. I think we can do this. It's a point now where we've been able to concept 4 pieces, and we're aggressively going after it. It's going to be a lot of fun. One of the pieces that we started with is I mentioned what is relating to the restaurant. The new logo has this like French style, beret on type waiter with a bottle of wine coming up out of a wine cellar. And I said, well, we've got a tree trunk out there that has one branch coming out that's nubbed off that I could probably get the wine bottle to kind of like look like it's reaching. You got to go at the mercy of this particular wood. As it's drying out, we're finding that it's checking in rings because it's so old, but it's hardwood, so I'm actually kind of happy that it is because it's actually holding other pieces together. As I do it, I get more, excited about what I'm doing, and then I slow down a little bit to really get the detail, get the 3D. So I can't say that there's not a time where I'm just not like getting more and more stoked about where we're at and what we're doing. But also the charity piece comes in and we start seeing a product come together, people start bidding on it, we start getting money for charity. Then that whole inner feeling of this is good, it's for charity, it's going to raise some money. I'll tackle anything, but I really want to stay within the mediums that I'm at right now. These 4 mediums that I've got, with the clay being the 5th, I'm good for right now.
I'm afraid of chainsaws. You can see Ed Jarrett.
Darkness has not overcome us, that light is with us.
A moment of reflection for Monsignor Robert Weiss. He has spent many moments like this in the past year. His church, St. Rose of Lima, is very much a part of the fabric of Newtown and is where many in the community have sought help to try and heal.
I think faith has really played an important role in the lives of the people here in terms of healing and understanding, trying to move forward.
Fondly referred to as Father Bob in this tight-knit town, Weiss arrived at Sandy Hook Elementary that morning to comfort families. St. Rose held the funerals for 8 of the children.
There's no textbook for this. There's no course for this. This was just, as I have always said, just if they need to be hug them. If they need cry with them, hold their hand.
And the members of this clergy, while trying to be pillars of strength for their flock, wound up needing therapy themselves for the immense grief.
Moving forward, we've found the importance of trying to get counseling for ourselves.
Weiss says through it all, he saw the humanity in people, as evident in the tens of thousands of letters and countless gifts sent from people all around the world to tell Newtown they care. One letter, faxed that very day, from the Vatican, the Pope expressing his condolences.
In the aftermath of this senseless tragedy, he asked God our Father to console all those who mourn.
There are over 10,000 parishioners here at St. Rose, and in the years since the tragedy, Father Bob says many people have come to Mass together, so much so that they've even added an additional Mass on Sundays. And there is still so much healing that needs to be done.
There are people that come in and out of the church all day long. Some of them just sit there and you still find people crying.
On the 1-year anniversary, this memorial arch and bell, built by a local stonemason artist, is being unveiled, dedicated not just to the victims, but to the people of Newtown for their strength, resilience, and faith. Shirley Chan, NBC Connecticut News.
From the summit of Haystack Mountain, you can see for miles and miles in all directions. 500 feet below lies the small town of Norfolk, the coldest and snowiest spot in all of Connecticut. Official weather records in town are kept at the Great Mountain Forest by forester Russell Russ.
Temperatures would be the first thing, and then precipitation would be rain or snow. If there's snow on the ground, you use the measure stick to measure the depth of the snow. So there's a handful of little observations that are done for the National Weather Service.
Russ makes his observation at 7 a.m. every morning, 365 days a year.
If I'm out late at night and I have to get up, or if it's Christmas morning or something like that, no, it's not fun.
But most of the time, Russ loves being Norfolk's official weather observer, and there's one important reason why he gets out of bed every morning to make his daily observation.
I do enjoy carrying on the great tradition that was started here by Ted Childs, and my father was fortunate to work with Ted for 50 years.
Over 13 inches in both of those months.
Russell's father, Darrell Russ, took observations here for 50 years with Ted Childs, the man who started the weather station in 1932.
Dad was very interested in observing the weather, but particularly when he went to the Yale Forestry School and took on this thesis project to study the effect of hemlock in the microclimatic conditions within the forest.
Ted Childs started recording the weather at his family's estate 84 years ago. The weather station hasn't changed much through the years, and that's what makes it so special.
It's not something that the government remunerates you for in any great extent, but it's a sort of a patriotic tradition to keep track of our climate and our weather. And it's done by cooperative weather observers all over the country.
Officially, this is the snowiest spot in all of Connecticut. Here at the official Norfolk weather station, they average more than 90 inches of snow every winter.
The important one around here is a snow measuring stick. So we had this one for years, but since we are in Norfolk, Connecticut, I pronounce it Norfolk, we were given this one.
Snow and cold is something people who live in Norfolk are used to, even boasting about their moniker of Connecticut's icebox.
Now we're proud of it because they've even made a little bumper sticker with ICBX, I think, that people are putting on their cars.
The icebox weather records have captured the 1943 record cold.
A low of -37 was recorded in the valley.
And the record rain of August 1955 from tropical storms Diane and Connie. It's a legacy of weather records that Starling Childs and Russell Russ hope will continue for at least another 84 years.
To carry on that tradition is huge for me. It is almost larger than doing it for the Weather Service.